Good afternoon, everyone. As Jonathan said, my name is Jenna Martin, and since I have not taught most of you, which is weird because I've now taught some people who are partners, and it's a whole other level of scary, I want to talk a little bit about sort of what I do in general as a faculty member at WVU College of Law and how that relates to the fellowship. So my research and scholarship is in the area of securities regulation and business and human rights, which when I tell that to people, they give me that glazed over look, like I have no idea what you're talking about. But basically, it's looking at the interaction between corporations and human rights and compliance issues with regard to disclosure, corporate governance issues. So some of the things I've examined is trafficking and supply chains and what corporations are obligated to do in terms of disclosing it. Or what the obligations of corporate board members are with regard to human rights obligations. And so when the fellowship came about, the application, this seemed to dovetail nicely with sort of a new area of research, that I wanted to go into, specifically data privacy issues and data privacy breaches. And so I was fortunate enough to earn the Ralph C. Young Fellowship. And so this is a multi-year project that I'm undergoing, and it's allowing me to examine data privacy breaches from every angle. And particularly how it affects consumers in the state of West Virginia. So some of the topic areas that we are going to look at is credit card use and identity theft, e-retailers like Amazon misusing your data. Like, I was shocked. This is the one thing that once you start getting into this area, every other article is on data and how everyone is misusing your data. So I just saw this one article that came out that said, Alexa is eavesdropping on you. And so now I'm like, Alexa, stop recording. We're done. We don't want to do it. So that's sort of the general nexus of what we're looking at. And in order to do this, we plan on surveying the field. We're going to consult with consumers. We're going to consult with businesses. We're going to consult with other experts in the area, and examine also what other states have done. So for those of you who've started working in this area, for instance, the California experiment or the California Consumer Privacy Act, which was passed recently and looks at issues of data privacy and giving the rights of consumers to sort of opt out and to provide consent and notice. But there's also other countries that are doing this. So for instance, in Europe, the European Union has the GDPR, which again is a sort of more robust data privacy regulation that looks at in a number of different areas. So I am fortunate enough to have a number of research assistants, including one soon-to-be law student who was in the back of the room being nice, wave to everyone, Mr. Hogbin, who is helping us sort of get a lay of the land, literally not just in the States, but across the world. And then we're going to take that information and just start talking to people and getting their feedback with the idea of performing or culminating that in a best practices recommendations and report regarding what we should do in this area, because it is a rapidly evolving area that, you know, I'm with you. Facebook is it. I know Facebook. People start talking about Tinder and Kindle, and I have no idea what these things are. So the idea of moving things so quickly, trying to get a sense of how we can sort of deal with this at the nascent stages. And as part of this, we've also submitted a proposal to the UN, which, if it's accepted, and we should know by the end of next month, will be presenting at the UN's annual Forum on Business and Human Rights, which is the largest event of its kind. It brings together thousands of stakeholders, businesses, governments, NGOs, experts in the field. I've been fortunate enough to be able to present there a couple of different times, but if so, we will be presenting on the best practices and sort of our preliminary research and analysis. And I should say, at least at the UN, the international level, this is the issue. This is the cutting edge issue in the field. Data privacy is it. The UN Human Rights Council has gotten involved. They've announced a UN special rapporteur on data privacy issues. There's talk about doing treaties, which, given our current climate, we will probably ignore, but it still shows sort of the level of attention that people are treating to this issue, both here in the United States and across the world. So like I said, this is a multi-year process. We are trying to culminate by getting lots of feedback and getting lots of input from people. So this is really, I thought this was a presentation, this is really a plea. To the extent that people have input, they have information, they want to be involved, or they just want updates, please, please, please reach out to me. I'm trying to get as many people involved in this as possible, so that we can gather as much information and have this be as deep and wide as we can. So I'm at the College of Law. I'm not hard to find, I don't think, but if you have any information or want to stay abreast or want to stay involved, please feel free to reach out to me.